Well, they are now official. Several new rules affecting schools here in Florida. One now requires parents to be informed if their child's school will allow students to use a gendered bathroom that's different from the gender they were assigned at birth. And News 4 Jax reporter Joe McLean is live in the studio tonight with more on these new state policies. And Joe, there were a total of 6 new rules adopted today.
Right, and they all stem from these new state laws, including the Parental Rights in Education law, which has been called the Don't Say Gay bill by critics, as well as HB 7. That's the law that placed restrictions on how civics can be taught in Florida. Under one of the rules passed today, if a student is subjected to a lesson about race that a parent believes violates the law, that teacher can be disciplined for discrimination. Another rule establishes the system for how library and media centers will be screened, as well as expands the definition of media centers. It now includes classroom libraries as well. Other rules include an update to how threat assessments are reported, a requirement for youth mental health awareness training, and a rule that updates how unresolved student welfare complaints are handled at charter schools.
And Joe, there was quite a bit of public comment at this meeting because it lasted more than 4 hours. What was the main message from supporters and opponents?
Well, from supporters, they were sticking to the message of parental rights. We've heard that a lot. For example, one of the rules passed today requires, as you mentioned earlier, a district will have to notify parents if students will be allowed to use the bathroom associated with their gender identity. Well, to that, parents said it's important for parents to know how schools are operating, including even how bathrooms are handled in their public schools. The vast majority of those who spoke in opposition, I will mention, were members of conservative political organizations, mainly Moms for Liberty, another group called County Citizens Defending Freedom, as well as Turning Point USA.
Were there a lot of people who spoke up in opposition?
Yeah, certainly there was a lot. Actually, it was leaning more heavily towards those who were speaking in opposition today, which is typical for a law that's likely to be passed or a rule that's likely to be adopted. With the same, they were using the same arguments that they used against the so-called Don't Say Gay bill, the unofficial name of the Parental Rights in Education Act. Now, we heard from parents, educators, activists, even some students behind the mic today. All of them came out strong against the rules, saying that these policies needlessly ostracize LGBTQ people and don't really solve any problems, they say, except maybe making parents who are uncomfortable or unaccepting of transgender students to feel more comfortable. And they say that's not a good enough reason to pass a law that they say could potentially harm transgender students. Mary?
Definitely a divisive issue. Joe McLean, thank you. And you can read more about these new rules at news4jax.com.